Today we're going to continue talking about developing skill with rhetoric. This is key number 3, understanding subject matter and its treatment. To become a successful rhetor, and by rhetor I mean a good person speaking well, someone who understands how to develop an argument, whether it's spoken or written, you need to develop skill in treating the subject matter fairly, fully, and effectively. Successful rhetors comprehend that what one decides to include in a composition is intimately connected to why one is speaking or writing, whom one is writing to, and what kind of text one is composing. So you have to know all of those things and be able to think of them all at the same time in order to be successful. Anyone who wants to become a successful rhetor needs to understand that there are 4 essential concepts. And we're going to talk about those now. The first essential concept is that rhetors need to recognize that any topic, proposition, question, or issue must offer at least 2 paths of interpretation. Let me give you an example since we've been talking about Romeo and Juliet. You can't write a paper arguing that William Shakespeare is an English playwright because he is an English playwright. There's no arguing there. There's no 2 sides of that. But if you argued that he was the best British playwright, well, you might have some people who disagree. So therefore, you have at least 2 sides of that story. Now, concept number 2. Rhetors need to capitalize on what readers already know and makes them curious to know more about the topic. Then you satisfy their curiosity by providing facts, ideas, and interpretations that build on what they already know. Here's number 3 and 4. Number 3 is rhetors need to understand that the basic move of all effective rhetorical texts is claim plus support. This doesn't even have to be the case when it's a persuasive paper. Anything that you're going to write about, you have to state your idea and then give the reasons why you have that idea. And that's all there is to it, really. And concept number 4 is you need to understand that the central responsibility of a rhetor is to generate ample, substantial material to support the points that you are making. All successful texts, well, no matter what kind they are, no matter what genre they are made up of a series of points. One of the points is the main point, and that's called the thesis statement. Then you have supporting points. All writing can be broken down into those 2 main components, the main point and the supporting points. Now, that may not seem like papers would ever be very long, but you have to remember one of Aristotle's main canons or rules was invention. Invention is the craft of generating material to flesh out the topic. So you can't just make short little sentences, maybe 3 or 4 supporting points of your main point and be done with it. You have to flesh it out with things that are interesting, adding examples, adding detail, adding figurative language, all those things that we've talked about that make writing so much more interesting, not only to read, but actually to write. Nobody wants to read anything boring, and you shouldn't want to write anything boring. So this is key number 3 to developing skill with rhetoric. Now, if you learn these keys and learn how to use them well, your writing will always be better.